It's not been a pleasant week, it's not been a pleasant few weeks for several managers in the Premier League.
Ooh.
Question is, who's going first? Marco Silva rumoured to have already behind the scenes received his notice at Everton, but we've got Unai Emery, we've got Manuel Pellegrini as well at West Ham. Craig, as we take a look at the results, it's not been good, has it?
It's getting to that time of year, isn't it, where anybody who's out of job, we've already seen it with Mourinho, who was sitting waiting for the Pochettino sacking. He stepped in there. You look at the results, let's start with Arsenal. The draw against Southampton, who have been struggling, the pasting at Leicester, the draw at home to Wolves, where Wolves had close to 30 efforts on goal, the draw against Crystal Palace, who actually are not a bad side, and the loss at Sheffield United, it wasn't surprising the way Sheffield United have started. Everton, big chance for them at the weekend to take a little bit of pressure off, but you know, against a pretty hapless Norwich side who have been struggling, particularly away from home. That, I think, is the final nail in the coffin for Marco Silva, who's been struggling for quite a while. And West Ham, who under Pellegrini, who I don't think is a bad manager, but is certainly having a bad time now, who started this season so well, it has just gone all to pot. And although they almost made a comeback against Tottenham at home, it really didn't tell the story of the game, where they were meek, they were very pedestrian, and they basically allowed Tottenham to do for most of the game what they wanted with them. So, yeah, three managers who are really struggling, but I think out of them all, I think Marco Silva for sure is in the hottest seat at the moment, because Everton have spent a lot of money, or quite a lot of money over the last 3 or 4 years.
Huge amount of money, around £180 million net spending, and that accounts for the likes of Romelu Lukaku, Idrissa Gueye going out of the door for big money as well. They have spent hugely, a lot of it under the tenure of Marco Silva, following on from Ronald Koeman, where Farhad Moshiri had also spent big.
I think Hasenhüttl is kind of, you know, he's a difficult one. It could happen at any time. That 9-0 against Leicester still rings true, it rings fresh in the memory. But he might just be eking the odd result out just to stave him off. Kiko Sanchez-Flores, I mean, that's just a sacking club. The family own that. It's in and out. We've seen that with Javi Gracia. He's not been able to turn things round. And as I say, I think Pellegrini, as funny as it says, Emery is in second favourite. I think Pellegrini and Marco Silva are the two most likely to go the soonest.
The problem that these three have got is that they've all had a full season. Does that come into it? Hasenhüttl arrived, obviously, did the job of keeping them up, and has had a torrid time at the start of this season. It looked like it might turn at the weekend with an unlikely result. It didn't happen for them in the end. They'll feel let down by that. But Solskjaer as well hasn't had the full season. He wasn't on that list.
No, he's not on the list because I think they're a little bit hesitant to go against their initial decision. I think it will happen sooner rather than later, particularly with Pochettino out there now. What's going to happen with him? Do United sit in their hands and wait and he goes somewhere else, or do they go for a guy that they were definitely interested in before Tottenham had a bit of a downturn? So I kind of think they're all right for the moment. Silva and Pellegrini, particularly Silva, expect to be talking about a new manager at Everton soon. And the other one is the guy behind us, is always pulling the faces and doing. He has had great success, or a lot of success elsewhere, particularly with Sevilla. However, it decidedly looks at the moment that he has no idea what he's doing, because he's completely backtracked in his initial decision. And I'll give you one example in Mesut Ozil. Mesut Ozil was out, and now all of a sudden, Mesut Ozil couldn't even get on the team bus or get on a flight up to the north of England, and now all of a sudden he's in the team. That's not to suggest Mesut Ozil's not a talented player, but it is to suggest that he's done a full U-turn at the moment on Mesut Ozil. That's how desperate he is. So he does not know what he's doing. The question is, do Arsenal pull the trigger and say, right, post Arsene Wenger, our first man in the door, it's not working. It's not working. It's not the only problem at Arsenal. Same as Man United and one or two others, but it's not working, Ross. How long do they wait? I don't think they wait long, or they shouldn't.
I was just going to say, out of all of these teams that are currently experiencing managerial difficulties, just due to results really, spend hasn't worked out, losing the plot, how many of these clubs, or which club, has the best chance of righting it should they make a change, or are they just going to throw more mud at the wall and hope something sticks?
Well, it depends what the objective is towards the end, So I would say Everton and West Ham would have more chance of righting the ship, because I think their squads are certainly better than where they are on the table, and their expectations are not as high as an Arsenal. That's the difference. You know, if Everton or West Ham were even to get near the top four, and I know Everton have been there before for sure in recent, relatively recent years, they've had Champions League football. But if any of them were to get close to that, then they're putting a good run together. It's kind of expected they should be in the top four, you know, missing out the last, year or two. So I think a manager is able to go in and turn around a West Ham and an Everton a little bit quicker than turning this ship, because this is a bigger ship, and the expectations there is they should be ruffling the feathers of Man City and Liverpool, and they're a long, long way from doing that.
Which again might speak to why they might be more reticent to make a change.
I don't know, Arsenal really know what they want to do, and they might think, who's out there that's better than Unai Emery? And I think the answer is, there are better options out there. I'll give you an example. I know we need to go out of here because we're boring you, and I know he's doing a great job at the moment. It's not because he's doing it now, but I'd have Brendan Rodgers in a shot over this guy. 100%.
How about Eddie Howe?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment I would have Eddie Howe over him, and I would have him over Pellegrini, and I'd have him over Marco Silva. Eddie Howe is not perfect, but what he's done at Bournemouth cannot be ignored. And you know, but we will see what if it's the fancy Dan ideas of having to go into some tropical place and find another manager rather than actually what's there in front of you. So we will see what these clubs do. But mark my words, I don't think we're more than 72 hours away from at least one, if not two of these falling on the sword.
Okay, bold prediction.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.